Space, the final frontier, and to you, possibly a graveyard. You're going to take the role of a valiant commander in the harsh galaxy of Lancers, techno-feudal, post-scarcity, except not really communism, utopia, hard soft, medium well sci-fi setting as commanders of its fleets. Command vast battleships as you duel among the stars as your very own Battlegroup. Sounds like a war game, doesn't it? But what if I told you that Lancer Battlegroup was in fact a standalone TRPG set in the Lancer universe? And what if I also told you that it's not really a TRPG or a war game? Lancer Battlegroup is technically an official product of Massive, but finding it requires signing up and purchasing it directly from Roll, a new VTT service which has exclusive distribution of the game. The initial part of taking the role of an officer of a battlegroup is true, as the game has players take the reins of their own fleet, but to set the tone of the role-playing game you're about to embark on, the first thing it teaches you is how to kill someone with an attack. At its core, it's a D20 plus modifiers game, or more accurately, a D20 plus or minus a D6 system with Lancers, Boons, and Banes serving as a vast majority of the actual system. Now, what about those commanders? They have to be important, right? They are you, after all. They are the player characters. They get 3 traits. 2 are positive, 1 is negative. Roll 1d20 with a 10 up to succeed at any task of your choice, and you can use positive traits in the dedicated non-combat sections. It's marked off until you suffer with your negative trait in the dedicated non-combat sections. I have finished the entire nature of commanders for you. That's it, really. Your actual player character, the character that represents you in the field, has very little influence on anything related to the actual beating heart of the game. That heart is the combat, which unsurprisingly is also a D20 plus mods rollover combat system. You'll be maneuvering your battle group into the heat of combat, but not really, because your battle group has only a paltry allowance of 20 points to work with, which out of the 12 frigates, 7 carriers, and 8 battleships you'll build your fleet out of. Now, in truth though, you actually have to outfit each of these ships as well with various equipment and tools, as there is no license system like Lancer. Those 20 points can afford you 2 or 3 capitals and enough armaments for each, but many of those armaments are going to be the freebies that you get to work with. Do any of them really matter, however? Does it really impact you in the gameplay? No, because there's a dedicated time before combat which allows you to almost completely retrofit any ship and even hull, unless the GM makes a call to disallow it. Each ship often only has 1 or 2 traits that really define it, so any of that personalization you think you could have is instead replaced with this impersonal desire to just make the build than anything else. But what are we doing in combat? Notepad? It must be using Lancer's in-depth grid system with all the other shit that game does, right? No! It uses the gear map. The windy bindy nightmare map, which they pretend looks like this, but is in fact this. You'll appear in one of these sections and shoot your weapons with their optimal ranges at your enemy with a D20 plus mods versus their defense score. However, there is a catch. The windy bindy nightmare map is getting smaller. With each turn at round 6, 7, and 8, you'll be forced to crawl into the point blank range, which isn't actually a point blank range category except when it is, because NPCs aren't actually on the map, nor do they really matter for positioning's sake. While there, you'll fire until you win, die, or surrender. Congratulations, I've taught you Lancer Battlegroup. There are other aspects such as missiles guaranteed damage mitigated only by the interdiction system, each location conferring unique bonuses to the fight, or the uptime actions usually giving you banked D6s for penalties or bonuses. But I ask you this, what is Lancer Battlegroup? Is it a war game? Well, if it is, it's a pretty fucking terrible one. All the NPC fleets operate on a completely different spectrum and ideas than the PC's fleets. No positioning, no strategy, no really playing outside what your build does and hoping to God you rolled well. Is it a good standalone TRPG? Well, I actually struggle to refer to this as a role-playing game, as the commanders, our actual player characters, mean nothing in the grand scope of things. You're not Yang, nor are you Okita, or hell, Picard. You're a nothing burger who does things during the Talk Now sections which have no real purpose to it. Is it a good Lancer supplement even? Notice through this entire video, I never actually mentioned mechs at all. You know, Lancer, the mech RPG. Frequently though, the book makes mention of just changing it out for a Lancer mission, but then you think on it a bit more and realize they don't really do anything with that angle. The titular Lancers are nothing more than an afterthought and a desperate marketing ploy. So what is Lancer Battlegroup? Regardless of what it is, I don't think it's actually worth anyone's time unless you're some die-hard Lancer fan that just wants a justification to waste other people's time. My name is Notepad and this was Lancer Battlegroup. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. A many thanks to the Stellar Dust Barons for funding my fleet's deep expedition into dark space. We will boldly go where no man has gone before.